Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. That's why you need Shopify. They'll help you create a convenient, unified command center for whatever your business throws at you, whether you sell online, in-store, or both. You can sell the way you want, attract the customers you need, and keep them coming back. Turn those what-ifs into why-nots with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer. That's shopify.com/special offer.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Horrific new video of a Ukrainian refugee's murder caught on camera. It is absolutely horrific. Trump is now seizing on this to push his nationwide crackdown.
Tonight on 360.
The stories that matter. Anderson Cooper 360. Tonight.
Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime. We heard President Trump asked about it yesterday when he was heading home from New York City. He didn't seem to know much about it. He said he would get briefed, and then today, Trump did know all about it. That's exactly what has happened here. This story has trickled up from local news to social media and now to the president's attention. And it's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol, with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration. I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman. The open racism on sites like X today, it's eye-popping. But there are also legitimate questions about this so-called career criminal, someone who had been a repeat offender. And those questions, I hope they're not lost amid all of the cesspool kind of comments on social media.
So you mean cesspool comments like I got the white girl? So those kind of cesspool comments, I got the white girl? Racism? Yeah. My friends, welcome indeed. The fastest hour in American media underway. It is the Tuesday edition of Both Snerdley's Rush Hour. I understand that my colleagues here have been playing the Carolyn Levitt presser where she completely eviscerated the press corps. So we are not going to do that because we've got so much other, we have so many other audio pieces to bring to you from people making news. I mentioned that Brian Seltzer piece yesterday, which we played at the beginning here. All of the racist comments. And let me just say this. There are racist comments on social media. There are racist comments every day on social media. I typically have to block the more egregious of them when they come up in my feed. People feel free using to just spew whatever garbage comes out of their mind. Okay. But the overwhelming number of people that are commenting on this horrific story here are commenting because they are horrified. And as I said yesterday, and I will continue to repeat it, there are reasons to be horrified. There should be reasons that enough is enough. And if you look at the news every day, you will find horrible stories. I mentioned yesterday, I see them every day. Many of them I don't even bring because there are so many other things going on. And there is something going on in the cultures of the United States that has to be addressed from a moral issue standpoint. And especially, I'm going to say it again, in black culture. It has to happen. It's got to be addressed. Today, we played yesterday, for instance, one of the people warning Donald Trump, warning ICE, warning the military, you better not come to Chicago. You better not come here because we have gangs. And we're not like those punks out in L.A. If ICE shows up, if law enforcement shows up, we're going to fight back. We're going to fight them. We have gangs. Well, there are a number of people, and we happen to, this is the way it's rolling, okay? It's not that I'm looking for it. There are a number of black people that are posting videos warning what they're saying, warning the YNs. And it's so funny because I never heard that term before 2 or 3 weeks ago, as you know, and found out what it meant on this program. Now I see the term everywhere, and they're warning the YNs that you don't know what you're getting into if you think you're going to use your gangs to fight the government. We'll have a little bit of that. Here's another one. If the horror of this case that you're dealing with has not offended you, I don't know what's wrong with you. But it is not just the horrific nature of the murder itself. America's Small Caffeinated Mom texted me right before the show started. She asked me if I had seen the clip of the yeah, of course I've seen the clip. But she was stunned by the people ignoring her as she was dying, turning their faces away, walking by. And then we're told, Rhonda says, to stuff our thoughts and prayers. And when I say I've seen the video, I can't watch certain parts of it. I just can't. My stomach won't take it. My heart won't take it. So I've seen portions of the video. There are certain things I turn away from. I can't deal with it. But I mentioned yesterday, this is all, and I will say it again, this encapsulates everything we have talked about. It is the mayor of Charlotte, North Carolina, issued a statement at first that was just so tone deaf, she had to go back later and try to walk it back. We can't arrest our way out of these problems. We can't arrest our way out of mental illness. Was pretty much the gist. Which sounds like one of the talking points from the Democrats. You've heard Brandon Johnson say recently, we can't arrest our way out of the situation in Chicago with crime. We can't arrest our way out of crime. This is a mindset among black Democrat elected officials. It's like you have to sign on to the handbook. You get a copy. I don't know what it is, where they repeat these same lines over and over and over again as their constituents, black, white, Asian, are being, whoever lives in the city, from whatever part of the world they are all at risk. And yet you have these black Democrat elected officials who continue to mouth platitudes while people are being killed and targeted in their cities. And you have these other Democrats, including the ones in the media, trying to give them cover. It is disgraceful what is happening in American cities. It is disgraceful. You know, you heard this when Donald Trump was talking about what he's doing with crime. You heard Democrats say, oh, this is racist. Notice he always talks about the black mayors. Who's running these cities? He's talking about the people that are actually running the cities. And you're not allowed to criticize them, otherwise you get called racist. They are a disgrace. What is happening in Chicago? What is happening in Charlotte? What has happened in Charlotte? It's disgraceful. What's happening in Baton Rouge, Louisiana is great. What happened is disgraceful. What happened, Carlos, in Baton Rouge? Do you know? Have any idea?
No.
TJ, what happened in Baton Rouge? You know anything? Have you heard anything from Baton Rouge in the news? No. Brian's in there. There's your new guy. Have you heard anything from Baton Rouge? What's going on in Baton Rouge? Haven't heard. No. Well, let me tell you what's going on in Baton Rouge. A man accused of raping a child and spreading sexually transmitted disease to this child was arrested on Monday. Anthony Jelks, 25, turned himself in to authorities. He was booked in the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison on a charge of first-degree, a rape charge. According to an arrest warrant, they were called on August 7th about a report of assault. 2 days before that, the police responded to Our Lady of the Lake Hospital regarding a sexual assault report. Officers learned the victim was taken to the hospital after the complainant saw redness and irritation on the 4-year-old child's body. According to an affidavit, the child told the complainant that Jokes pulled her pants down and got on top of her. The complainant told investigators the victim was allowed to stay overnight at the residence where this guy was dropped off. The child was taken to the hospital, examined after the injuries had been seen. According to police documents, the child tested positive for chlamydia. That's just one of it. It turns out that Mr. Jelks, 25, has a long police history. 25 years old, multiple times. They can't seek the death penalty there. Although the parish in East Baton Rouge Parish District Attorney, Hilar Moore, his office is trying to explore every option in the case, which could include surgical castration or the death penalty. They became the first state in 2024 to allow surgical castration in addition to chemical castration in certain sexual assault cases. By the way, since we just a brief detour on that, do you know what they mean by chemical castration? They mean using the same drugs that are used for quote unquote gender affirming care. Just so you know. But they're going to try. Now, what about him? He was released from prison a while ago. 25 years old. Another one that was released. He's been arrested 6 times over the past 6 years. Everything from firearm charges, domestic violence, battery, violation of protective orders. He was currently on probation when he is alleged to have raped and given chlamydia to the 4-year-old. Arrested in 2020, punched a woman in the face. His bond was set at $1,000. Charges later dismissed. In 2022, arrested for domestic abuse battery with serious bodily injury and child endangerment. Again, in and out of jail. If you saw the pictures of him, guess what? Brian Seltzer at CNN, I guess, would be complaining because if you put the picture of him up, they didn't thankfully put the picture of the 4-year-old girl up that he raped and gave chlamydia to. But he has a very similar, if you put a hoodie on him, you wouldn't know the difference too much between him and the guy. In fact, if you put a hoodie on me, oops. Anyway, James Golden, Snerdley, coming back. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's go to Chicago.
ICE has detained the man charged in connection with the death of a missing Antioch woman. The Department of Homeland Security says agents arrested Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez yesterday afternoon at a market in Chicago, and he remains in ICE custody. They say he is an undocumented immigrant from Mexico. Now, you remember back in April, Mendoza Gonzalez was charged with concealing a corpse, abusing a corpse, and obstruction of justice in the death of Megan Boss. Police in Waukegan found Boss's body in a container in Mendoza Gonzalez's yard. She'd initially been reported missing back in March.
The ugliest detail, she was decapitated. Just saying. And yet, of course, you have all this talk about how horrible it is that Donald Trump is bringing federal forces into Chicago. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, and we're going to revisit Chicago after the next break that we take. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Gavin Newsom delivered the State of the State message. He writes it. He doesn't bother to show up before cameras, which is unusual. In it, he says he last warned them in the letter. My last letter to you warned about the poisonous populism of the right and the anxiety many people were feeling about the state of this country, some of it grounded in the real fear about the national economy. But much of it is stoked by misinformation and bigotry. We are now 9 months into a battle to protect the values we hold most dear and to preserve the economic and social foundation we built in California. We are facing a federal administration built on incompetence, malicious ignorance, one that seeks the death of independent thinking. What are the values that he's talking about they hold most dear? He and Karen Bass are raging after the Supreme Court decision let the ICE raids continue. The values they hold most dear? Protecting illegal immigrants. Those are the values, and protecting criminals. After all, what good elected Democrats these days do not protect the criminals. They put criminals first. We have more in Chicago. There's other news out here, too. We got to touch as much as we can. So whatever you do, stay here and don't go away. Please don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley, we got a lot to do here. Let's go back to Chicago. Now, while all this is going on, residents of Chicago are dealing with these bloody weekends. You know, you have double-digit shootings there almost every weekend and multiple deaths every single week. Mr. Johnson and Pritzker, by the way, they keep saying pretty much the city is safe. The city is so safe of Chicago that Mayor Brandon Johnson has 150 police officers in his security detail. The mayor has 150 police in his detail. He was asked about it, a little ebonic. He was asked, you got 150. Why? And listen to his answer when he's asked about the 150 police officers that form his detail.
And your wife, Stacy, be willing to cut your security detail from 150 sworn police officers and put those police officers back on the street where they can protect real Chicagoans?
So we're very proud of the work that we're doing collectively to ensure that our police officers have the resources that they need. As I've said repeatedly, it's policing and affordable housing, it's policing and youth employment, it's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's going to take all of us, the business community, the philanthropic community. We're working collectively with Cook County government, the state of Illinois, the state's attorney as well.
He never, ever, ever addresses the question. Are you willing to cut the 150 police officers that you and your wife have and actually let some of those police officers protect, the reporter said, real Chicagoans, which is an interesting thing. Another thing he ignored. Okay. Brett Hume was asked about this business with Chicago, cut 5 Carlos. And Brett Hume of Fox responded this way.
I think, Brett, that the Democrats have walked into a trap that the president's approach on crime has set for them. Just as Dash has suggested, this crime issue is one where people want to see it stopped, ended, suppressed. They want to feel safe in our urban areas in particular, but elsewhere as well. And to the extent that what the president is doing is bringing that about, it's going to be popular And there's some legal niceties that concern some people. But that aside, I think it's pretty clear this approach on the president's part is a political winner.
Well, it's a winner with everybody except from some people in the hood. We played yesterday, and apparently there are so many multiples of this sentiment that are now taking over social media. Oh, yeah? You want to come try to straighten out crime in Chicago? Some of the some of the citizens in the hood have a little something to say about that.
Trump, do not send the National Guard to Chicago, gang. Do not, I repeat, do not do it. We are a different breed out here, nigga. We are not Los Angeles. We are not Washington, D.C. This is Chicago. The niggas go fight back. I'm telling you, the niggas go fight back, gang. Whatever, I don't give a what you talking about. Them young switches, gang. They not going for it, bro. I know a bunch of y'all finna say, oh, it's the National Guard. They can't do anything about it. They must go in Chicago. Do y'all know that it's more bad people than good people, bro? There are over 100,000 gangs in Chicago by the city by itself, gang.
Okay, so now, and there are others echoing this. Don't do this. What is this thing? I'm sorry. I'm not turning in my black card. I don't care. The switches. What's this business with? They keep talking about the switches. What are the switches? I just learned what the YNs are. Now they got something else with switches. Switches had a very specific meaning for me in my life. I used to get disciplined with a switch. And I'll just leave it there rather than go down that happy trail of memories. Okay, so you heard the warnings. Now here are people, and these happen to be residents of Chicago, responding to the multiple messages that are being left all over social media. Don't bring the National Guard, don't bring law enforcement into Chicago because the YNs got their switches and they're going to fight back.
Okay, I'm back from my Target run. And I saw a video of a young man who decided to warn President Donald Junquavius Trump and tell him that he better not send the military to Chicago because they got switches. They got switches. Yeah, that's what he said. I'm trying to say this with a straight face because he was so serious. Son, do you understand the magnitude of the force of the U.S. military? Yeah, you got switches, but they have weapons that are so far advanced. They have tiny homing missiles that by the time you realize there's a quarter-size hole in your chest, you'll only have 5 breaths left. Yeah, 5 breaths left. Not only that, do you know that when your ammunition run out, because you don't have enough to go against them, once your ammo runs out, do you know they still going to be coming full force at you? Yeah. Also, do you know that they can localize and pinpoint where all of that ammunition is coming from, where all of the pew-pews are coming from, and they will level it. Yeah, level it. You won't have to worry about having your family to have a fish fry or a GoFundMe to pay for your burial because there won't be anything left, love. They're going to have to raise money for a life-size poster of you because that's all they'll have to remember you by. Yeah, decimated, obliterated. This is the U.S. military we're talking about. We're talking about people who have vowed with their lives to protect the United States from all terroristic threats and enemies, foreign and domestic. And just in case you didn't know, love, what you just did, that was a domestic terroristic threat. So you still got time to take that down and apologize to the U.S. military and President Donald Junquavius Trump. Yeah, you got switches, but we have the life-size version and the real-life version of Bruce Banner. In case you didn't know who that was, that's the Hulk. Yeah, U.S. military, they got the Hulk. They also have Winter Soldiers. Yeah, and they got the Avengers. Sir, you're outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, out everything. Just stay in the house, baby.
This is a message to all of you knucklehead YNs up in Chicago. How you doing? Guess what? The government's coming to lock all of y'all ass up. That's right. And I am 100% here for all of that. I need to figure out how to buy some stock in the penitentiary so I can make some money off you dumb motherfuckers. Y'all are gonna make a new Netflix series for me to sit back and binge watch on the weekends. It'd be great. We get a lot of seasons out of that. It'd be awesome. Yeah. Talking about Trump better not send the National Guard up here because we gonna fight back. We built different. No, you not. I watched the first 48 motherfuckers. And y'all are gonna do exactly what them mother do on the first 48. You are going to run. You're gonna run and hide. You're gonna shoot that gun and take off and try and hide and hope you don't get caught for as long as you can get away with it. That's what the you're going to do. That's what you all...
Young brothers in Chicago, come to the front. Come to the front. I need to talk to y'all right now. Man, find you something safe to do. Find you something safe to do. I've been seeing a lot of y'all post videos trying to warn Trump not to come into Chicago. I don't know if y'all deaf, dumb, or crazy, but find you something safe to do. I'm going to be real with y'all. Y'all only got two options. Two options. Either be unalive, badly, over unalive, or get sent to prison with so much time that you'll be unalive there. That's the only two options you got. To think that you finna go to war with switches against the federal government, you got to be so far gone in the mind, or to think that you got a chance to beat the U.S. military, the National Guard, in a combat, and you have no experience whatsoever in a combat situation. I don't know how many times y'all been playing Call of Duty. This ain't it. This ain't it. And if y'all know anybody in the Chicago area, they got family and friends, they got young ones out there that think that they gonna actually be able to get away with this, y'all better warn them right now, because most people ain't even got money for funerals. But it's gonna be bad if they feel like they gonna resist what the police job is. Like you got to be.
Yeah. So that is some of what that is some of the reaction. The switches. No, they're not talking about switchblades. Switchblades went out in what year? In what decade? Switchblades was 1960. That was Mac the Knife stuff. When they're talking about switches, they ain't talking about that. They ain't talking about that. And they are certainly, no, they are, these little lions are not talking about switchblades. Okay. So that's some of what's going on in Chicago. Let's keep going. Mika Brzezinski has lost her mind. She was on with Tom Homan. The woman is... There is a reason that Comcast wants to spit out, vomit, get rid of, take a number 2 with PMS NBC and get them out of the Comcast body. There is a reason that they are willing to let PMS NBC go. This, Mika Brzezinski, Cut 7, is part of the reason that some people up in the higher echelons, up in the rarefied atmosphere of the executive offices of Comcast are saying, can we please take a dump and get rid of PMS NBC? And this is the reason.
I see on the show this morning you have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False. Didn't happen.
They were parked there. They did not do an operation there. She said they were parked in a public space legally.
But to say that and to push that out there puts fear in the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's happening.
To do that puts fear in the community. Right. To park the ICE agent's vehicle
they're on a
near
public
a church.
Street.
They're on a public
street.
She said
they're on a public street,
sir.
waiting to respond to a criminal alien release pulled aside the road. Let me tell you, in the last couple of days, what's happened in Boston. They've arrested Victor Gomez Perez, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Guatemala, with charges of aggravated rape, assault and battery with dangerous weapon, indecent assault and battery on a victim 14 years or younger. They arrested Kaylee Espinosa, a 34-year-old criminal alien from Colombia, with charges of aggravated assault on a pregnant victim. They arrested Joshua Gonzalez, a 23-year-old criminal alien from Dominican Republic, with charges for trafficking heroin, morphine, opium, resisting police, disorderly conduct, and drug distribution. They also arrested Samuel Armando Barrera, a 20-year-old criminal illegal alien from Guatemala, pending charges for assault and battery on a child. So Mayor Wu and Governor Healy, they ought to be calling ICE and thanking them for making their streets safer, for protecting their communities and taking these people off the street. They have turned a blind eye to this. They're sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities and sanctuary states are sanctuaries for criminals. give ICE access to the jail to arrest a bad guy in the jail rather than have to go in the community to find them. Because when you go in the community and find them, it puts ICE officers at greater risk. It puts the community at greater risk. It puts the alien at greater risk because anything can happen on a street arrest. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to prioritize public safety threats when you got governors and mayors who are releasing these public safety threats every day into the community. That causes the crime rate, and we've seen some terrible incidents in the last few days where innocent victims are murdered. This past year, I've seen innocent Americans raped and murdered by people who are not supposed to be here. So rather than going back and forth and say, well, ICE has got a car parked near a church, that is ridiculous. You're out there looking for people like this, exactly what they're doing.
Well, I would argue that actually that the ICE vehicle parked outside a Spanish mass is a frightening sight, given what has happened in this country. I also, with respect, sir, thank you for the information that you have shared on this show, but we would appreciate all of the information. All of it. All of the data that you say you have.
We would appreciate
I've done this
all
show
of it.
several times.
All of
on your show,
it. All of
I
it.
speak with
That's
integrity.
enough of her. We would appreciate all of it. Mika Brzezinski. All right. I'm looking at the clock to see whether we have time for one more. We are going to do it because it's 35 seconds. What would life be like without the women of The View and their intellect? You know, we had one of the biggest raids on an American business, ICE raids, with the Hyundai construction of the Hyundai plant down there in Georgia. Whoopi weighed in. And man, oh man, just utter sheer brilliance on display.
So here's a question. You know, last week, Georgia Hyundai plant, where over 450 people were taken into custody, suspected of living and working illegally. Over 300 of them were South Korean. Did you know they were here to build a plant to create American jobs?
Oh, wow. And they rounded them up.
Them up. And, I mean, let's be real. This isn't about sanctuary cities. This isn't about round.
Does anyone understand her point? Or is it just me? There were 450 illegal immigrants here, but they were working on a plant for American jobs, so they shouldn't have been rounded up. And Americans shouldn't be citizens. People here legally shouldn't be doing that construction work. This isn't about sanctuary cities. Let's be real. Let's be real about what? Exactly. I don't understand what passes for logic in the liberal brain. And I'm not trying to be mean-spirited or anything. I just don't get it. I don't understand where is the disconnect. They are here illegally. They were caught. South Korean government said, oh, yeah, we're going to send you a plane so we can bring them back home. Yeah. Do you think that there would be 400? What do you think would happen, Whoopi Goldberg, if 450 illegal American citizens went to South Korea and were working on a plant in South Korea that would produce South Korean jobs? Do you think the South Korean government would say, oh, that's nice, let them stay? I will not ever understand how their brains work. James Golden, Snerdley, here on the fastest hour in American media.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Couldn't get to it today. Tomorrow, maybe. Karen Bass, of course. Her reaction to the Supreme Court ruling, dangerous, an attack on every person in every city in the country. We'll have more from Karen. America's Karen. America's Karen's Karen. Karen Bass. Carlos has renamed this song, ladies and gentlemen. It is now officially The Deck of the Bay. 1941, Otis Redding was born. Heavenly birthday. After he appeared in the 1967 Monterey Pop Festival, he wrote and recorded this with Steve Cropper. That 1967 Monterey Pop Festival is recorded. Hendrix was there as well. Anyway, also birthdays today, John McPhee from the Doobies, Joe Negroni, Frankie Lyman, the Teenagers, and Luther Simmons from Main Ingredient. We got to go. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow. Princess Di is joining us tomorrow. So we'll look forward to that. In the meantime, my friends, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?